They told us the Camping World that the entry level ones, like the pop-ups and the things you don't need a giant truck to pull, those sales are up 400%. So
wow.
We're seeing this like huge surge in the industry, and this is obviously our business is new. So we said, you know what, we have a lot of people coming out, they're asking a lot of questions, they got great questions, let's get them started off good. So that's why we decided to do this kind of clinic here with RV pros. So ask all the questions that you got. These guys are super knowledgeable. We've got some products here, stuff that they're going to talk about a little bit. We sell all of it up in the store, so there might be some tips and tricks or products or whatever that might help with your stay and make everything more enjoyable.
The biggest problem, I get the biggest call on RVs is the humidity. We see a lot of them up in Lake Lure. They're literally, I walk in these RVs and you can just wipe the dust, the mold off the counters. And this is a regular dehumidifier right here. You don't have to get a big one. You know, they're not that heavy. They take like 4 amps, so you can run. If you have a 30 amp RV, you can still run all this stuff. And what I do is I put them in the showers. I put them in the showers, and then I take a little hose off the side here. Make sure you get one with a hose that you can put on, and just run it on like 35% and let that thing run into your shower, going in your gray tank, right? Then once a month you can actually, or once a month if you're at home or something, if it's sitting, just empty the gray tank, shut it, and that's all you do. So it's that simple. And that'll take out probably a gallon a day on a rainy day. So I don't like it. People use these damp red things and they put them in there. It just don't work. They're not pulling enough moisture out. That's like, you might just throw your money away. Get that. You can get that same GE now. We had that for like 8 years. We're in Florida and it has like 120 degrees in our RV. I beat the heck out of that. It won't break. I don't know what it is with that one. Go on Marketplace or something, get a used one. Because if you get that one, it won't break, guaranteed. But that's huge in RVs because it's all the particle board and wood and that stuff swells up. Forget it.
If you get mold in your RV, pretty much stuck.
Yeah.
And it will take forever to get any of that smell out. You're going to end up taking the carpet out. You're going to end up taking the walls out.
It gets in the carpet, really, the padding, and we pull apart.
It's one of the worst things.
Yeah. We just bought a 2016 and the carpet, everything, you could smell the mildew in there. Really bad.
We literally have to take everything out of our RV.
We take everything out. We pulled up some of the carpet because it's flooring. I'm like, take this out of here because everybody hates carpet now, right? Allergies. But it was pretty bad, and it took us about a month. I had a cleaning lady come in there and clean it, paid her, and it still took us a month. We're still cleaning stuff out, just mold.
And I'm still cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning.
And mice is a big problem too. When you park that RV and you store it, you use it all the time. Don't worry about it. But they get in. What they do is they get in the underbelly, and they get into your furnace ducts, and they chew through them. It's very thin, right? So that's a big problem because when you turn your furnace on, if it's not blowing as hard, you're like, something's going on. You think the fan's slowing down. You really don't know because everything's happening in that sealed underbelly underneath. And we had to replace all the ductwork because the mice got in there. 2016, it was just torn apart. So I'm pulling it out, and dead mice are falling out. And it was. And you got to drop the underbelly. It's no fun. You got all the propane lines for the gas grill in the back. Everything's got to come down. So it's keep the mice out because it caused a big problem. I mean, we fixed them all.
Irish Spring soap.
Yeah, soap, bars of soap around. You can keep that.
If you keep them in your drawers,
right,
in your kitchens, in your bedroom, anywhere around there.
Throw them in the back of the drawer or something.
Even
cut them in half, the bars.
So that's a non-toxic repellent. It won't.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if it's for animals, is it?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
It's okay for animals?
Yes. Well, not for. I mean, dogs are going to stay away from it. They don't like that smell. It's not like they're going to bother it, or cats. Right. But Irish Spring soap will keep them away. And
do you have the anode rods in yours? This is in the hot water heater. The water heater. Some of them have aluminum tanks and they don't have this. They have the plastic cap. If you have that, you're okay. This basically, this is. Do you know like a boat motor? When you have those blocks in the back, they put the magnesium zinc. That's for this will rust before the hot water heater will rust. So you'll see this go down to like nothing, one rod. That'll rust. But this you're supposed to change them probably sometimes every 6 months to every year, depends. And just put the regular tape around it. Because this way your hot water, it's steel. If it's a steel hot water tank, it won't rust out. This will rust before the tank. Just like one at home, they have these in the house heaters. So you need to get these. These are like $20. Put them in every year. And if you have an aluminum tank, you'll have a plastic cap on it. You don't have to do anything with that. There's no maintenance.
So what is that called?
This is an anode rod. ANOID, anode rod, ROD. Yep, winterizing. You got to pull this out when you winterize. But another thing is the pressure reducing valves. These are really important because your RV can only take like 45 psi of pressure, and then it's PEX piping, it's fine, but they have the crimp rings, the pinch rings they use. They don't use the copper ring for the house, you know what I mean? Well, I do. When I replace stuff, I use the copper rings. I don't care. I don't want to come back leaking on me. But these will bring it down, and these are real important. It's swivel, and these are nice because you got the grip on them too. These are really good ones. They're brass. So this is a must, because I was just in another RV park and had 100 psi of pressure, and as far as you can see, all the RVs were like blowing out the hot water heater blowout valve. It was the pressure release valve on the hot water heater. It was blowing out of there, and you could see just dripping as far as you can see. I'm like, okay, so I said something's wrong. I'm getting calls for RVs leaking all over the place, and I'm going back and forth, and I just stayed in the park for like a week fixing all this. And it was as simple, the park had too much pressure. They just put like 200 spots in, too much pressure, and it was blowing out. And under the sink, they usually get loose. See, when they buy these new, you buy them new, even if it's 2 years old, you rattle down the street, everything gets loose, and you got to tighten them. Go in your water bay underneath and just snug all your connections up in there, because they're just hand tight. And they, believe me, in a factory, they're pushing fast. And then that rubber seal will get, it'll shake down the road. But that's a big deal in the RVs. But use one of these and you'll be good. So that's that. What I did is, on the most new RVs, if you want to winterize your RV, usually there's a hose in the cabinet where the pump is, and you can just take your bottle, RV antifreeze, and just put it in there, and then run the pump. It'll put it through the system. Then you just turn one faucet at a time and wait until it's pink, because it's pink stuff where you can see it come out. So one faucet at a time, your shower, your bathroom, be careful. You got to do your toilet too, because it got that valve in the back. I replace them all the time because it cracks, because you're valve in the back of the toilet. So bring that out. Outdoor shower, don't forget about that. And I made a little system here. Usually the newer ones have the thing where you can just put the gallon in, but if it doesn't, I just took a little 12-volt pump on Amazon right here. This thing's full, so it's heavy. I get 4 gallons at a time, and I hook it to a little 12-volt source. So you just put a little 12-volt source, little battery, and you put it in there, 3 gallons, 4 gallons at a time, and you only need about 2 gallons in each RV. Depends, the fifth wheel, you need more. If you go in the inside, there's a bypass. You can bypass that heater. So once it's drained and you want to winterize, you got to hit the bypass switches. It's hard to explain without having it in front of me, but there's switches where you just want it kind of looks like a H, and it'll have one valve here, and you just turn it and it opens it up, and then you have 2 that lock it so it won't go into the heater and out, in or out. So you want to do that, and you can actually, before you winterize, you can actually get one of these, the little tip here, and it goes in an air hose and just screws in, very simple, brass. And this thing will blow the lines out, blow with air. Sometimes you can just, some people do just blow them out. They don't put the antifreeze in. Sometimes what if you want to use the RV in the winter, but it's going to freeze that night, that week you're back home, okay? And you don't want to stick the antifreeze in. You're going to use it. You want to rinse it out and all that, where you can blow the lines out. Take your low point drains on the bottom. They'll say low point drain on the side of the RV, and just hit them, and then all the low point will go down. And then you can just pop this out of your hot water heater and be done. So,
Just a question real quick.
Sure.
I've got just a little inverter for putting air on my tires.
okay,
150 psi.
150.
Is that going to be enough to blow up my lines if I use that little adapter?
You want to keep it down to like 40 psi when you're doing it. So you take the regulator on the compressor and bring it way down. Watch that gauge. You do 150 psi, you're going to blow the pipes out. Oh, does it have a tank on it, or?
No.
Oh, you can't really. It doesn't have enough pressure.
Okay.
You need more pressure than that.
I got you.
I mean, you need more consistent pressure, yeah.
Consistent.
So that won't work. You need an actual little portable air compressor.
Do you have yours with you?
Yeah, I have mine with me. It's super heavy though. It's right in there. I'll show you after. Just a regular. You can get the ones from. You go to Harbor Freight and get those ones for cheap, for like on sale with the coupon for like what, $40, and they have the pancake style one,
Yeah.
and they're super light. You can carry one of those, but you need some kind of tank
Yeah.
to do that with.
Yeah.
So that won't do it. I know you're talking about just a regular DC compressor thing. Yeah, that won't. You need an actual tank. Your tank rinse for your black tank. Sometimes they can sit the pipes like this, and they can come down and into the tank. It sprays on the black tank, and it rinses your black tank out, the tank rinse. Sometimes when that line comes down underneath, and you won't know because it's all enclosed, it can go like this and swoop down all around the tank, and then all that can freeze and break, and then that's a problem because your black tank will be leaking backwards into that, dripping down constantly over time, and you'll start smelling something you won't know. You have no clue where it's coming from because it's all enclosed, these RVs usually. I don't even do anything in the P-traps. I don't even really put them in. Well, they can expand. It's not under any kind of pressure. They can expand. You can dump a little bit in there. It's not gonna hurt anything. I never do. I never had a problem.
Right.
But I would dump a little in if you're concerned. Put a little in P-trap. It's not gonna hurt anything.
One heater, and then that should be it then.
That's,
Lines.
yeah, that should be it. That's good. You should be good there. Sometimes though, with weather, you gotta be careful. Look at the hurricanes and the storms.
Right, but if it only goes below freezing, say 1 day.
One day, if it's 30 degrees, probably won't hurt anything. Because because it's got to freeze for like 5 hours at that
Or
thing.
if
So.
you store it inside, it's generally not going to freeze.
Yeah, it's not gonna freeze. If
So
you're
you
inside,
don't
you're
really
good.
need to worry about. Would that be fair to say about winterizing at all?
Not here, but I was here one time about 3 years ago. I went down to like 10 or 9 degrees. It was cold for like
In North Carolina, it can get pretty cold.
that
But
jet
if you're
stream.
not in that kind of environment.
Then you don't have to worry
You're
about it.
not in that kind of environment. You have a Class B, and I
Yeah.
think is yours like in a garage or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
You're,
Then.
then yours is fine. If
I don't
you're in
want
a garage,
constantly winterize.
Yeah.
You know.
if
Yeah.
you're in a
I
garage,
guess that's my biggest.
Yeah, if
stress.
you're in a garage, it's not gonna, in North Carolina, it's not gonna freeze.
yeah. And
I
if
mean-
you're using yours all the time,
Yeah, I
Then
wouldn't worry
there's no
about it.
reason for it.
Hey, if you're worried about it, go spend the $5, right? You got a compressor probably at home, right? Well, put a compressor by the garage, just a tiny Harbor Freight one, and just take it and take your low center point drains, pop them, and just blow it out real quick. You're done. And just to get the pressure off the lines. And I see they winterize RVs and they keep all the faucets shut afterwards, and they put notes on them. They say, "Don't open. It's been winterized. Don't flush." That makes no sense. You're shutting. Yeah. What if you forgot some water in there and you need pressure to back up and your lines are shut? Open all your faucets afterwards. Let it drip down and sink a little bit. Open them. Get the pressure out. I don't understand why they do that. I looked up on Google. That's the right way to do it. To close your lines and you're putting pressure on your system. And so once you run it through and you start seeing the pink stuff, shut it, and then afterwards when you're done, open them all up. Let the pressure out. So it made no sense to me when they do that. But some stuff, that's said online makes no sense. And I've been doing this for a while. I've been having good luck with. I never had anything freeze on me. So, but it does dip down in North Carolina. So if you're here,
really cold.
and this winter's gonna be a rough winter. They're saying it's gonna be cold. My stepfather's an amateur meteorologist, and he said it's yeah. The biggest thing is the PEX pipes. It's gonna expand, right? It's a hot water heater. If you got a 12-gallon hot water heater and a fifth wheel, the hot water heater is what, $800? Yeah, there you go. You got an RV, go with the weather. But stay here a couple times a year too with Tim. Yeah, tubes of Dicor. A lot of people use that Flex Seal on the roof. It peels up. You can't do that. You can't use silicone on the RV roof. You want to use just around the seams, and you got to check those like every 5 months in the summer. Because I get up there and almost every RV I can see holes. It's lifting up and water's getting in and seeking under your roof like that, and it's like a sponge in the insulation. You won't see it leaking. Oh, I don't have a leak. You're using it. You got the air. It's drying it up inside, but your roof's a mess in there. And you got to touch it up with the Dicor once in a while. Not on a van, I don't think. Yeah, not on a van, but yeah. No, you're good on a van, but
DICOR.
right. But it's like $12 a tube. It's not cheap, but you keep a tube. It has a shelf life, so if you're going to use it. But it's good to keep one tube at least. You can touch it up there, and but you have to get up there. A lot of people, we make a lot of money on roofs because people don't get up there. And it's like some people can't get up there, and I understand. But if you don't get up there and check it, you're pretty much it's gonna leak. And that's gonna total an RV. Some see how many RVs are totaled because of that. Nice ones, 2015s. I go. The biggest things that we fix on RVs right now are the new ones.
Oh, yeah.
We don't really work on old ones. It's the new ones. It's like 80% of our calls new RVs because they're making them cheaper now. You got it. Sometimes the older ones are solid. Everything's been through. Once you buy it from the dealer, everything's been through, done, and they already fixed the problems they had. So.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, do you have any questions?
What, as new RV owners, what do you guys find the most challenging?
Freshwater tank, this is what I do. I take like a tablespoon of bleach. I put it in the hose outside, take it off the spigot, and I just dump it in the hose, and I shut it, and I fill the tank all the way to the top. And then any mildew or anything in there, green stuff, whatever grows in there, it'll hit the top, hit that there for like 5 hours, 6 hours, then drain the tank and rinse it like 2 or 3 times. Keep rinsing it, fill it all the way up, rinse it. And then you can use a little bit of bleach. It's not gonna hurt it. You don't really drink the water anyways from an RV, right? On most places, you buy bottled water, or you can put an
When
RO.
you take a shower, it's still on your body and still.
City water has so much bleach in it anyway. Just don't use a lot. Like if you can actually. I think what's the ratio? I think it's a couple drops, or even like a half of a teaspoon, and you put that in your tanks a little bit just to keep it going. I just put bleach in the tanks a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Because we had a Class A.
Tiny
and we
bit.
had
Don't drink the bleach now.
we were
Just a
okay
tiny
with
bit to clean it. And that's the best thing, though.
And
That's the
how
best.
often do you would need to do that?
I would do that especially if it's sitting. I do that every probably. I used to do it every like 3 months, just
Yeah,
because.
especially
So
when
if
we
you
were in
left water
Florida.
in the freshwater tank for a couple months.
Yeah, drain that out, fill it with a little bit of bleach, and then dump it out again. Rinse it out real good, and you should be good. But a lot of people buy the RV toilet paper, and for some reason we've done like tests and stuff and let it dissolve, and And this toilet paper, it seems like I've had a lot of trouble with it clogging, because I'd go to a big clog in a black tank, and that's a big deal.
I think I watched your video on that.
Did you
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
that one? We were covered in toilet paper.
Like a big study on it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. Yeah, we did.
Impressed.
I like, and it's crazy, I like the Scott single roll, the 1,000 sheet, because it's thin, and don't use that much toilet paper. Put a little garbage can, I know it's disgusting to talk about, but this is a big thing in RVing. You have to do it at a black tank, you have an RV. Put it in a wastebasket. Empty that thing every day if you have to. You know what I mean?
Decision after one trip, please.
Yeah.
One ply just doesn't work for us.
No. Put it in.
Well, one fly
It's
needs
just
to be
us two.
shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, just roll it up in your hand a little.
Rubber with the lid.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly. Dump it every day and you're good to go.
So suggesting don't use toilet paper at all.
yeah.
In the
Well,
toilet.
go to Europe, they use, what do they call those? Yeah, bidet. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can get them. Click on it. Oh yeah.
There
You
are
get
a
the
lot of
portable
people-
ones. I know it's kind of disgusting, but people. I mean, people talk about this in different countries. That's what they do.
Yeah.
There's a
Tell
toilet
'em about
paper,
the Christmas trees.
Christmas trees.
And then leave it open.
Oh yeah, you guys keep your black tanks shut until you're gonna rinse them, because you'll get
If
a
you
Christmas
use
tree in
toilet
there.
paper.
We've taken black tanks and you got.
That's a question. I know-
Well, they want to take unlimited showers. Like if you're in that shower, black tank will fill up. You take a long shower, fill your gray tank up quick. They're probably here with full tanks too. They're probably dumping them.
I need Navy showers. Really quick.
That's the way to do, it, especially in a van. Leave the gray open.
Why do you leave the black closed?
Black so you got to have the water with the waste to pour it out. You keep that black open, it just builds waste and toilet paper up, and then you got a
That's
clog
the
in the
Christmas tree
bottom.
we're talking about.
You got a big problem.
Pyramid.
Yep. And it's
Exactly.
hard to get rid. If it's really clogged, we've actually had to take tanks. I got a plumber, a subcontractor. I don't want to. I'm not. Listen, it's a virus, and then the black tank, and I don't want to. I mean, I still do them. I don't mind the smell, but the problem is that you can get sick. You go to black tanks. I mean, you can get the diseases and everything, and you get it in cuts on your hands. You got to wear rubber gloves. It's a big deal. We had to go to black tank once. The lady left it open for 6 years.
Ugh.
6 years. And I said, what are you keeping your tank shut or open? Because it was open. I was kind of thrown off. She goes, oh, it won't go out. And it was up to the toilet rim. Flush. And I'm telling you, this was the biggest job we ever done. And the plumber looked at it and said, oh my goodness. And he's like, he does this every day. And he's like, oh, this is going to suck. So, so we went to the lady and we said, this is what the bill's going to be before we started it. Because this is not going to be easy. And she said, and they're like, the husband's like, oh, I can do it, I think, if it's that much. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not, we can't, we had to subcontract a plumber, and you know, expensive plumbers, right? So I get there, and it's a friend of mine, so he did a little bit less, and we worked it out. But we actually we couldn't get it on, we had to take the toilet out. We had to take a pan and a cup and put it in a bucket. I had to take the bucket, walk out. Then we had to unbolt the toilet, take the whole toilet off. It was leaking anyways in the steel because it was up high, didn't know, or the pressure, you know. So we put a new seal on. We kept the toilet off. We had to stick a hose in there. Still wouldn't come out. It was overflowing on the floor. I'm like, this is bad. So the plumber said, this is the only way we're going to get this. Is he had to cut it almost, he had to take the underbelly, drop it down, and cut the whole pipe going on to the black tank, like this much far from the tank. Cut the pipe, and it still wouldn't come out. That's how clogged this was. This is how bad it can get. You got to keep those shut.
And people don't realize it.
Until you're going to drain them, keep them shut. We had to take a hose up there and put the hose up there and drain it for about an hour. And we had to flush it from the top and the bottom coming up. It was so jam-packed. I almost had to replace the black tank. But that's a huge job, you know. I've done it. So it was, you don't want to get that at that point. And it was,
I was very happy I had an office job.
that's
that
on you.
day.
Yeah. If you have one, you can almost keep it open because it's going to be, you're going to use the water anyways. It's flushing. I keep it open. But another thing is when you have these right here, the sewer tank thing, the sewer hose. Sometimes it's good to put like a P-trap in them because in the summer times you get all those flies and everything, the fruit flies.
What's P-trap?
P-trap is when you have, say, you can put it on here. Where's your thing? Right here. One of these right here where it holds the hose on, where you can actually take it and then dip it down about halfway, and then water will be in there constantly.
Right.
So then the flies can't get past that water. Actually, they can. They go through the water.
You would not think.
Yeah, it's nasty. They go
But
through the water.
they actually swim through it if you're in
But
your
it helps
RV.
a lot. It helps a lot.
So you
put
would
it,
pick the P-trap up when you would flush.
no, you can keep it down. It'll still flush.
It was still up?
Yeah, you can. I mean, if it's quick, just to throw it back up and then flush it. But you can keep it down. The pressure will push right through there.
Keeps the flies out.
Keeps the flies out. You have the fruit flies and stuff. You guys know.
They're not really fruit flies though.
They're not fruit flies. Whatever they are. But they drive you nuts. And then you got to put the things out. Once you get them in your pipe, they go in your tanks. And once they get them and
You don't want
populate, and you got a big mess. That's why you got to bleach your tanks.
A lot of
for that, too.
RVers, like full-time RVers,
Right.
will get them, and you really have to make sure you keep your.
You get them in your house too, don't you? Sometimes.
You do get them in your house, and they'll come up out of the drains, and
But you can prevent all this. Put the P-trap in and bleach your tanks once in a while, and you'd be good. You know, it's
Yeah.
way cheaper. The RV toilet paper is like a rip-off, and you.
Or
yeah.
you can just we use the Scots, and then we use the like regular wipes, and we just put them in the trash can, and we just empty it every day.
Yeah.
So just basically single ply versus the double ply.
Yeah.
You can just, I mean, careful when you throw it in a tank. I mean, anything. A lot of times we get
That's why we use the
calls.
wipes.
I mean, you're gonna roll it up and roll it up and roll it up.
Oh yeah, exactly. I get calls where their kids are throwing stuff down there,
Yeah.
and it's like, how am I gonna get that? It's wedged in there, and it's
Yeah.
it's a big deal. You know, Tim knows. He gets the call. Someone threw it. And the wet wipes, don't throw those in. Oh, they're degradable wet wipes. They're good for septic safe.
Biodegradable.
They're not septic safe.
They're not septic safe.
Do not throw those in. You know that then. Don't throw anything. Don't throw anything in the toilet but waste and urine. That's it. You know? Well, some RVs actually, when you have them from factory, they have a vent pipe that goes into the RV from the ceiling. There's a vent pipe. And sometimes, a lot of times, you don't know this because you can't see that vent pipe in there. But they put the vent pipe too low. And then your tank fills up. We had a 2016 Jayco brand new, and they put the pipe halfway into the tank. So every time we'd fill our tank halfway, it would smell because it's past that vent pipe, and there's nothing to vent it. But when you open it, you know, especially when you turn your fan on in your bathroom and it comes through like a.
You'd flush the toilet, and you would get these like bubbly things,
Yeah.
and
And
it
when-
wasn't even halfway full, and it was
Brand new. This is brand new stuff we're talking, guys. So you know, even in the used ones, they don't. It could have been like that from factory. It could be a quarter of the way in, and you fill it up. Like, I know my black tank's not full, but why does it stink? It could be because your vent pipe. A lot of times that happens. People don't realize that, but you can fix that. Just go up on your roof and take it and just pull the vent pipe up, cut it, and you know you can well. You kind of have to support it up there too because it'll drop in the tank.
It's a lot of work. RVs are a lot of work.
Yeah.
They are a lot of work.
But if you keep it clean, just use a lot of water. That's the biggest
They
thing.
are a lot of fun too, though. I mean, I know the things that we're saying
Yeah.
are a lot of negatives,
We're
but
just
there are a
telling you.
lot of fun things to RVing too.
Once you get the hang of it, once you get in a groove, it's like, you know, you just do it.